Hi. Hi, Ame.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. We'll start shortly. Dr. Pillai has joined us, I think.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, ma'am.
Hi. Yeah, hi. Welcome, Archana. I think Archana has also joined. So according to our standards, we have 4 minutes. Hi. 4 minutes to spare. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Great. Hi. How are you?
Very fine. How are you?
I am fine. So finally, we are set to listen to you.
I'm set to speak again.
Yeah.
Thank you
Fine.
so much.
Yeah, we'll wait for some 5 minutes. We'll have enough number of people. We have already some 10 people with us.
Yeah.
So more, we are expecting more. So once they join, we'll start.
What's our event flow and timing?
We have 1.5 hours with us. So there's no time limit. You can indulge as much as you want. You can. There's a lot of time. There will be a short introduction and then we'll start. After you finish, we'll have few questions. Some of the senior doctors and have some questions which we can discuss, and you can help us, guide us through it.
Perfect. I think
Yeah.
I'm completely ready. Yes.
So I'll just check. Archana, you're ready?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, fine. So once Patwardhan sir joins, we'll start. So there are another 2 minutes actually, 2 more minutes to go. So we can wait.
I'll just put on my video for 2 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, fine. Go ahead.
Thank you.
We are before time, madam. येतील अजून लोक.
Yeah, we are before time. We are keeping the standards of voices. So go ahead, Archana.
मी 2 मिनिटं चहा घेते.
घे. आणखीन एक 5-10 मिनिटात येतील सगळेजण. या
आम्ही ओपीडीत आहेस का रे अजून?
तर आता ओपीडी आहे, अजून चालू आहे.
मास्क घालून बसलायस म्हटलं.
ओपीडीत आहे सर.
हॅलो सर, वेलकम. पटवर्धन सर, वेलकम.
मॅडम तुम्ही म्यूट केलंय सगळ्यांना, अनम्यूट करा जरा. हा.
अरे मी नाही. अच्छा ठीक आहे.
म्युटेड एव्हरीबडी.
ओके, आय विल डू दॅट.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Should we start?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Here, Anya, अमरला तेवढं मी मोड केलं होतं. You have to unmute yourself. Actually, मी केलं सुरुवातीला, but
चार जण आहेत फक्त.
नाही हो सर, आहेत की 15 जण आहे आपण. आज जॉईन होत आहेत.
अच्छा.
आणखीन 7 वाजले नाहीत अजून.
वाजले की?
1 मिनिट आहे अजून.
हा, 1 मिनिट आहे. राईट. परफेक्ट.
It's 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Join.
So it's 7 o'clock. Dr. Radhakrishnan is going to play a short video before we start. Yeah, are you ready?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I think you need to share the screen. We are not seeing.
आवाज
Are you going to record, Pooja?
So there, Dr. Radhakrishnan is going to show us a short video, and then we're going to start. So we are waiting for him to upload or share the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we, by
This
that
is-
time, should we welcome everyone?
Yeah.
Huh?
I think you can go ahead, Archana.
Yeah,
Welcome in the meantime. Yeah.
Yes. Good evening, all OSA members and rest of the doctors who all have joined for this today's non-clinical meet. After a long time, we are meeting on this online desk, actually. And today, I think we'll have a very good session by Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai on leadership qualities, how to improve. He'll be telling us about the Chanakya sutras to improve the leadership qualities. I think with this short welcome note, I hand over this mic to Dr. Pooja. She'll introduce Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai.
You want to show the video, Dr. Radhakrishnan? You want to show the video?
नहीं वीडियो नहीं है.
No, I thought you said you want to show a small video by the time. Okay, I'll go ahead with the introduction of Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai. So it gives me great pleasure today that we all are here to listen to one non-clinical talk, and it is something very interesting and a lot to learn for all of us. Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai, as we all know, is currently the international best-selling author of a book called as Corporate Chanakya. It is he is one of the topmost business authors in India. He has extensive research in Kautilya's Arthashastra and almost 25 years experience in leaderships as a leadership speaker and mentor of many and also a management consultant. He has been faculty at various prestigious institutes in India as well as abroad, like IIT, IIM, and IISc. Recipient of prestigious awards like Sardar Patel International Award in 2009, Avishkar Chanakya Innovative Research Award in 2013. One of his most popular book, that is Corporate Chanakya, has been translated in almost 10 languages. Also, he has a children's book called as Chatur Chanakya. He has books of almost 17 titles on the topic of Chanakya. So basically, he has dedicated his whole life in service of Chanakya and his teachings. He has found his purpose in life. And today he is here with us to help us find our purpose in life. So let's welcome him here and ask him to share his knowledge with us. Yeah.
Thank you. A warm good evening. Pooja ma'am, am I audible?
Yeah. You're audible.
So, a warm good evening to all the doctors and friends who are present over here. Thank you, Pooja ma'am, for making this happen, because it's an honor to speak to doctors. And it's almost like a family, because over a period of a time, I have realized that most of my friends, the largest group of doctors now, right from Dr. Rajesh Doshi, Leena, and suddenly I spoke to a group of orthopedic surgeons, and almost 300 of them. So there is some channel called as Ortho TV, and it's such a nice thing, because my father always tells me, two people are blessings on the society. That is Vaidya and Vidya dene wale. So Vaidyas are the doctors and Vidya are the people who give the knowledge or maybe the teaching community. So I think आप लोग शरीर को स्वस्थ रखते हो, हम लोग थोड़ा दिमाग को स्वस्थ रखते हैं. So I think it's a great opportunity to, first of all, share a platform with such a lovely group of doctors. And I would like to thank the organizers for making this happen. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's
So,
our pleasure.
थँक्यू मॅम. आणि कधी कधी असं मला वाटतं की मी मराठीमध्ये बोलावं, कारण सांगलीची लोक आहेत आणि
हा.
मराठीमध्ये बोलायला मला खूप बरं वाटतं. सो आय मे हॅव द प्रिव्हिलेज ऑफ युजिंग सम मराठी फ्रॉम टाइम टू टाइम. आय होप दॅट इज ओके.
Yeah, that's fine. It's great, in fact. Yeah.
Okay. So, friends, the topic that has been given is on Chanakya, and the timing is, as Pooja ma'am rightly pointed out, is around an hour and a half. What I will do is probably I'll speak for 40-45 minutes. And if you want questions, I would say more than questions, let us have discussions. Because this is a group of matured people. आपको सिखाने की जरूरत नहीं है, शायद आपसे सीखने की जरूरत है. So I think I will definitely speak on the topic, which is about the 5 Chanakya leadership sutras. But I think after that, शायद थोड़े चर्चा करते करते मैं भी कुछ सीख लूंगा. So I think that would be the most interesting part for me. Maybe the first part is for you people, because you will come to know a little bit of my Chanakya research. But I think the next part will be about Q&A. So with that particular format, let me start with a story. And that was a request that came from Pooja. Will you tell some Chanakya stories? Of course, I'm a storyteller. And our Indian culture is also about storytelling. You know, if you know the wisdom that has been protected and passed on from generation to generation, it is through storytelling. आपल्या भारतामध्ये कथा हे फक्त गोष्ट नाही सांगत आपण कथा थ्रू चिंतन आणि मनन करून एक पिढी ते दुसरी पिढीपर्यंत आपला अनुभव आणि ज्ञान पास ऑन करतो. So friends, be it Ramayana or Mahabharata, you know, they're all stories. Jataka tales, Panchatantra. हे प्रत्येक आपण जे कल्चर आहे स्टोरी टेलिंगची, त्याच्यात आपल्याला नेहमी एक असं सांगतो, व्हॉट इज द मॉरल ऑफ द स्टोरी. ह्याचं आपल्याला शिकायला काय मिळालं. इट इज नॉट जस्ट एंटरटेनमेंट, इट इज नॉट जस्ट इन्फोटेनमेंट, इन्फॉर्मेशन विथ एंटरटेनमेंट. इट इज ऍक्च्युअली नॉलेज दॅट इज बीइंग पास्ड ऑन. ऐकू येते पूजा मॅम? कारण मिलिंद सर सांगतायत की ऐकू नाही येत. आय एम ऑडिबल?
Yes, yes, you are very much audible. Very nicely. Visible and audible both.
Yeah. Clearly audible. Go ahead. Yeah.
थँक्यू. कारण आता एक मिलिंद सरांचा मेसेज आला होता की नॉट टू हिअर. मिलिंद सर, तुम्ही जरा चेक करून घ्या, तुमच्याकडे व्हॉल्यूम वाढवून घ्या. दॅट विल बी बेटर.
Yeah.
ओके. तर एक गोष्ट किंवा कथानी चालू करतो मी. ओके. नाउ द मॉरल ऑफ द स्टोरी इज समथिंग दॅट यू हॅव टू टेल मी. ओके. आय विल नॉट टेल यू द मॉरल ऑफ द स्टोरी. इट इज सेड दॅट एव्हरीबडी कॅन हॅव डिफरंट टेकअवेज फ्रॉम द सेम स्टोरी. जेव्हा आपण एक पिक्चर बघतो तर पिक्चर एकच असतं, पण प्रत्येक लोकांना त्याच्यातला कोणता भाग आवडला दॅट कॅन डिफर फ्रॉम पर्सन टू पर्सन. कोणाला गाणं आवडतात, कोणाला ऍक्टिंग आवडतं, कोणाला कपडे आवडतात त्याच्यातले, कोणाला म्युझिक आवडतं, कोणाला सिनरी आवडतं. तर आय एम गोइंग टू टेल यू अ स्टोरी कनेक्टेड टू द टॉपिक ओनली, बट युअर टेक अवे आय वुड लाईक टू नो मे बी टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ द स्टोरी. द स्टोरी इज बिगिन विथ द एंड. ओके. काय काय मूवीज मध्ये फ्लॅशबॅक्स असतात ना, तर दिस इज लाईक स्टार्टिंग टू द एंड. चाणक्याने काय केलं होतं, त्यांचे जीवनचरित्र मी नंतर बोलतो, पण चाणक्य यशस्वी झाल्यानंतर, आफ्टर ही बिकेम सक्सेसफुल, द स्टोरी कम्स एज अ फ्लॅशबॅक. ओके. चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य इज ऑलरेडी द किंग. भारताचा सम्राट झालेला होता, चाणक्यने त्याला घडवलं होतं. अँड इट इज सेड दैट एवरीथिंग इज परफेक्टली इन ऑर्डर. दुश्मन को पराजित हो चुके, अलेक्जेंडर वापस चले गया, धनानंद इज बीन डिफीटेड, and there are no enemies remaining. So it's like the golden period. It is Sone ki chidiya period. And suddenly what happens is that you realize that Chandragupta is one day sitting आराम से, काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही, आजचं कार्य झालेलं आहे, भारताचं निर्माण झालंय, बसला होता. आणि जेव्हा काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही, खरं म्हणजे तेव्हा प्रॉब्लेम चालू होतं. And all of you doctors know ki basically there is nothing called as a happy ending. Life is a continuous flow. एक संपलं म्हणजे दुसरं चालू होणारच आहे, एक पेशंट गेला म्हणजे दुसरा येणारच आहे. दॅट इज नॅचरल सायकल. बट इन बिटवीन यू हॅव ब्रेक्स. त्यांनी ब्रेक घेऊन बसला होता, त्याला वाटलं की सर्व कामं झाले, आता बसला होता आरामात. आणि जेव्हा मन शांत असतं तर दोन कार्य होऊ शकतात. ओके. इफ युअर माइंड इज क्वाइट, टू थिंग्स कॅन हॅपन. यू कॅन बी व्हेरी रिलॅक्स्ड अँड गेट इन टू कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन अँड मेडिटेशन. ओके. बट इफ यू आर हॅव्हिंग एन एम्प्टी माइंड, then it's also devil's workshop. तर हे दिस इज द रिअल प्रॉब्लेम, दॅट एम्प्टी माइंड कॅन बी अ डेव्हिल ऑर इट कॅन बी अन एंजल ऑल्सो. सो अध्यात्माचा बेस असेल तर इट कॅन गो टू मेडिटेशन, काम अँड क्वाइट, पण ते नसेल तर प्रॉब्लेम आहे. अँड ही वॉज सिटिंग क्वाइटली अँड सडनली एक त्याचा मित्र आला. ओके. मित्र चाय पे चर्चा करने के लिए आ गया राजा के पास. आणि बसून चर्चा करत होते. आणि त्यांनी कानात घातलं चंद्रगुप्त मौर्यचा, तुला माहितीये, यु नो युअर अ सम्राट. ओके, ओ तू किती यशस्वी आहे, सर्वांना पराजित केलंय, तो भारतवर्षाचा तू राजा आहे, तू महाराजा आहे, तू छत्रपती आहे. तुला त्याला चढवलं, चने के झाड पे चढाते असे. आणि हळूहळू त्याला कानात घातलं. मी ना आजकाल प्रजा बरोबर खूप टच मध्ये आहे. आय एम कंटिन्युअसली इन टच विथ द प्रजा. आणि तुला एक सांगतो, आय वॉन्ट टू टेल यू समथिंग व्हॉट द प्रजा हैज एन इंप्रेशन अबाउट यू. अभी सब शांत रहा, ठीक था, ये क्या है. जब सब कुछ ठीक रहता है, कोई वहां पे जाके थोड़ा सा प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट करने के लिए शुरुआत कर देते हैं. बोलते हैं प्रजा लोक काय सांगतात माहिती आहे, काय सांगतात, व्हॉट आर दे सेइंग, दे आर सेइंग दॅट इवन दो यू आर अ राजा, यू आर नॉट द मोस्ट पॉवरफुल पर्सन. तू राजा आहे, छत्रपती आहे, ते सर्व ठीक आहे, पण तू राज्य चालवत नाही. यू डोंट रन द किंगडम. हा, you are actually a puppet in the hands of a person called Chanakya, your guru, your raja. तो सूत्रधार आहे. सूत्र मीन्स थ्रेड. ओके, त्याच्या हातात सूत्र आहे आणि युअर अ पपेट, तर तुला नचवतो तो. असं मी ऐकलंय. मी असं कन्क्लूड करत नाही, तू खूप इंटेलिजंट आहे, बुद्धिमान आहे, मला माहिती आहे, यू आर व्हेरी केपेबल. पण लोक सांगतात, मी नाही सांगत. तेव्हा शांती असते ना, फक्त एकच विचार पाहिजे. आणि आपल्याला जर का ते चिंतन मननची जर का सवय नसेल, दॅट वन थॉट विच मे ऑर मे नॉट बी रियल कॅन क्रिएट ऑल द प्रॉब्लेम्स इन द वर्ल्ड. आणि हळूहळू ते मनात शिरतं. ओके, लाईक बोलते उंगली दे दो हाथ आ जाता है ना, तो मन भी ऐसा ही है. एव्हरी थॉट कॅन बी द मोस्ट डेंजरस थॉट. नेव्हर लेट थॉट कम्स इन टू यू. इफ यू कॅन ऍक्च्युअली अंडरस्टँड दॅट की प्रत्येक विचाराला आपण एंटरटेन न करता त्याला तिकडे, जसं बॅट्समॅन करतो ना, बॉल नंतर बॉल स्वतःकडे ठेवायचं नसतं. यू हॅव टू हिट अ सिक्सर अँड लेट इट गो. थॉट इज व्हेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. तर ह्याने डोक्यात घातलं, ही पुट अ थॉट सेइंग दॅट की तू राजा आहे, पण तू राजा नाही. कोणत्या राजाला आवडणार, कोणत्या लिडरला आवडणार? अरे मी नंबर 1 आहे, मी राज्य चालवतो, मी केपेबल आहे. आणि हळूहळू त्या डोक्यात चालवलं. आता व्हॉट इज द रिअल अंडरस्टँडिंग दॅट हॅड हॅपन्ड बिटवीन चाणक्य अँड चंद्रगुप्ता. चंद्रगुप्ताला राजा बनवल्यानंतर, आफ्टर मेकिंग हिम अ लीडर, Chanakya had retired back to the forest and he had started teaching. आपल्या इकडे टीचर्स कधी रिटायर होत नाही. ओके, हे फक्त कल्पना, हे गव्हर्नमेंट जॉब वाले रिटायर होतात. पण आपल्याला माहिती आहे की टीचिंग इज वन प्रोफेशन विच ओनली बिकम्स बेटर विथ एज. Unlike the field of maybe sportsmen, and there are a lot of professions which are related to the body. For example, celebrity status असेल वगैरे वगैरे. So as you age, your career becomes smaller and smaller. And sportsmen वगैरे लवकर रिटायर होतात. पण बुद्धीच्या स्थळात, the more your experience, like all doctors, all of you will only matured. And even if you are formally out of the profession, you continue as advisors. कारण तुमची विद्या आणि तुमचा विचार ते वाढतच असतं. सो व्हॉट डज चाणक्य डू आफ्टर क्रिएटिंग चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य? हे रिटायर टू द फॉरेस्ट अँड कंटिन्यू टीचिंग. त्यांनी नवीन जनरेशनचं निर्माण करण्यासाठी टू टीच मोर स्टुडंट्स, ही वॉज कंटिन्यूइंग इन हिज गुरुकुल. पण एक अंडरस्टँडिंग होतं. देयर वॉज वन अंडरस्टँडिंग दॅट वन्स इन अ वीक द राजा विल गो अँड मीट हिज गुरु, राजगुरु, आणि त्यांच्याकडे सल्ला मशवरा करना पडता है. सल्ला मशवरा का? कारण राजाला पण कुठे ना कुठे गायडन्स लागतंच ना. when you are stuck. असं म्हणतात, आय एम अ मॅनेजमेंट कन्सल्टंट, ऑल ऑफ युअर मॅनेजमेंट कन्सल्टंट्स. तर आपल्या फील्डमध्ये असं सांगतात की एव्हरी कन्सल्टंट ऑल्सो ॲज अ कन्सल्टंट. बरोबर की नाही? सो नोबडी इज परफेक्ट. एव्हरी कन्सल्टंट हॅज अ कन्सल्टंट. आणि आपल्या मेडिकल फील्डमध्ये माहिती आहे, इट इज नॉट जस्ट स्पेशलायझेशन, इट इज सुपर स्पेशलायझेशन नाव. तर अगोदर एक फॅमिली डॉक्टर होता, आता हळूहळू एवढा आपण ते फील्ड्स वाढत घेतल्या. दॅट इज गुड ऑल्सो. But sometimes the danger of super specialization is that you forget generalization. Okay, so you should be a specialist with understanding of generalist. असं म्हणतात की एक व्यक्ती डॉक्टरकडे गेला, फॅमिली डॉक्टर, द टिपिकल ओल्ड मॉडेल आपल्याकडे होते. तर गेला आणि सांगितलं की डॉक्टर मला बरं वाटत नाही. व्हॉट हॅपन टू यू, वाय आर नॉट फिलिंग वेल? डोकं दुखतंय. तर ते लोक, पण मी डोक्याचं डॉक्टर नाहीये. गो टू एन ENT स्पेशलिस्ट. गोस टू ENT स्पेशलिस्ट. आणि ENT स्पेशलिस्टला सांगतो की डॉक्टर माझं डोकं दुखतं. कुठे दुखतं? इकडे. ओ, सो यू हॅव इयर प्रॉब्लेम? हा मला वाटतंय, जरा बघा ना. तो विच इयर? तो लेफ्ट इयर. सॉरी आय एम अ स्पेशलिस्ट ऑफ द राईट इयर. गो टू दिस गाय. तर तो दुसरा ENT स्पेशलिस्ट कडे जातो. बोलतो की कुठे दुखतंय? तर बोलतोय की राईट इयर मध्ये दुखतंय. ओके ओके, पण कुठे? खूप आतमध्ये की थोडंसं आतमध्ये? खूप आतमध्ये. नो नो, आय एम नॉट अ सुपर स्पेशलिस्ट ऑफ गोइंग डीप इनसाइड. मी वरती वरती राईट इयरचं करू शकतो. Why am I telling you this is that sometimes we have to understand that we need specialists, but remember, don't miss out that kabhi real problem is not about the disease, but the state of mind. And mature doctors know it's all here. You know, कभी आप गोली दे देते हो जो actually गोली है नहीं, वो नाम के लिए it is only something that you get convinced कि हाँ डॉक्टरनी मला इंजेक्शन दिलं आणि डॉक्टरनी मला हात लावला. So sometimes you have to understand in leadership positions, even if you are good, you have to just go and meet your Rajguru, okay, and just be with him. जसं आपल्या घरी जे वृद्ध असतात ना, वयोवृद्ध, आजी असेल, आजोबा असेल, you know, we have a very interesting culture in our country. त्यांना 60 वर्ष झाले किंवा 80 वर्ष झाले, we celebrate, isn't it? It is not like an old age home because दादा दादी आजी आजोबा they are still part of our family. ते त्यांना मध्ये मध्ये आपल्याला ते इन्क्लूड करावं लागतं. म्हणून आपल्या घरी जेवढे वयस्क लोक आहेत, आपण आपल्या मुलांना सांगतो ना की जरा बाहेर जाण्याच्या अगोदर त्यांचं नमस्कार करून जायचं. यु नो, जस्ट आस्क देम, सिट विथ देम फॉर 15-20 मिनिट्स. ह्याच्यानी फायदा वगैरे काय नाही. इट इज नॉट अ बिझनेस ट्रान्झॅक्शन की काय मला, यू मे नो मच बेटर इन द वर्ल्ड, दे मे नॉट नो द लेटेस्ट टेक्नॉलॉजीज, बट रिमेंबर वन थिंग, जस्ट गोइंग अँड मीटिंग the elders, experts, and the experienced people. Elders, experts, and experienced people itself is a blessing. Mahabharat मध्ये पण सांगितलंय की the fall of a leader starts when he starts thinking himself better than the experienced people. Okay, just जाऊन भेटणं, just going and meeting without a reason, logic नाही है, मिलते रहो और वृद्धों से मिलते रहो. तर हे अंडरस्टँडिंग होतं की चंद्रगुप्ता वॉज व्हेरी एफिशिएंट रनिंग द किंगडम, बट वन्स इन अ वीक ही हैज टू गो टू द गुरुकुल, गुरुजी के पास, चाणक्य के पास बैठने का आणि सांगायचं की हो गुरुजी सर्व ठीक आहे ना, हो हो, काय नाही, नो अजेंडा, जस्ट यु नो मिलना इटसेल्फ इज एन अजेंडा. यु नो, आजकाल का जो जनरेशन आहे एवढं आपण ते स्पेसिफिक झालोय, कशाला फोन केलं, काय फोन केलं, आणि बोलून यायचं, कार्य नसेल तर कशाला, कारण आणि कार्य नसेल तर कशाला भेटायचं. So of course we should value our time, but sometimes don't value so much of your time that you forget that sometimes sitting casually also is very important. So from time management, you should also know space management. मनाला पण थोडं स्पेस द्यायला पाहिजे, not only time. Anyway, so Chanakya used to meet Chandragupta, he used to come discuss काहीतरी ते असेल, कधी प्रॉब्लेम्स पण तो विचारायचा, कधी नाही विचारायचा, पण भेटून यायचं, नमस्कार करायचं. काय लोक देवळात जातात ना, दे हॅव अ डेली रुटीन और वीकली रुटीन. इवन इफ यू डोंट हॅव एन इच्छा, यू स्टील गो. प्रत्येक सोमवारी, मंगळवारी, शनिवारी हनुमानजींना भेटायचंय, जे काय असेल. सो इट वॉज अ रुटीन वन्स इन अ वीक. आता काय झालं की हा जो माणूस आहे त्याने त्या डोक्यात घातलं एक डाऊट की अरे बाबा तू नाहीये राजा, तू तर फक्त एक यू आर जस्ट अ पपेट. अच्छा, सूत्रधार करतोय. तर त्याला असं वाटलं आता मी मोठा झालोय ना, रिमेंबर वन थिंग, मोठा झालोय आता मी नाही जाणार. तर आता तो गपचूप ही स्टार्टेड अवॉइडिंग गोईंग. हळूहळू तो जाणं बंद केलं. चाणक्याला कळालं, चाणक्याला समजलं. अच्छा, एक आठवडा गेला, 2 आठवडे गेले. आफ्टर 2-3 weeks सडनली चाणक्य केम टू द राजदरबार. आणि चंद्रगुप्त घाबरला, अरे गुरुजी आले इकडे, अरे गुरुजी बसा. 3 वेळा नमस्कार केला, बसवलं वगैरे. गुरुजी गिव्ह अ नाईस क्रुकेड स्माईल. लीडर भाई, हाऊ आर यू? चांगलं सर्व चालू आहे ना घरी? हो, सर्व चालू आहे. राज्यामध्ये काय प्रॉब्लेम नाही? काय नाही प्रॉब्लेम, काय नाही. आतापासून मी येणार नाही. हो, आतापासून मी येणार नाही, कारण तू, मला माहिती आहे तुझ्या डोक्यात काय शिरलं आणि कोणी शिरवलं हे पण मला माहिती आहे. सो डोंट थिंक दॅट सिटिंग ओव्हर देअर आय एम डुईंग नथिंग. सिटिंग देअर आय एम डुईंग द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टंट थिंग. व्हॉट? थिंकिंग. मी माझ्या गुरुकुलमध्ये बसून सर्वात उच्च कार्य करतोय. काय? विचार करणं, विचार मंथन करणं. आणि त्या प्रत्येक ऍक्टिव्हिटीवर माझं लक्ष आहे. आय नो एव्हरी ऍक्टिव्हिटी ऑफ युअर्स आणि आय नो फ्रॉम विच पॉइंट अँड हू स्टार्टेड दिस. नाही गुरुजी असं नाही, हो गुरुजी मला समजून घ्या. काय नाही, मला खूप समज आहे म्हणून तर तुला राजा बनवलंय, तो खूप समजूतदार आहे. सो डोंट वरी अबाउट दॅट, आय नो. बट मी एवढं तुला विचारतोय, आतापासून येणार नाही, मला काय आवश्यकता नाही. तू शहाणा आहे, तो मोठा झालाय, सर्व ठीक आहे, पण मला फक्त तुला एकच विचारायचं आहे. Remember one thing, when I made you the king, okay, I knew this day will come when you will think you don't require an advice because you're a leader, na? The day will come when you will think that you don't require an advice. That time I already created a backup plan for you. नंतर डाउनफॉल चालू होणार आहे. Okay, so the day you think that I don't require an advice, I know how to replace you. But I only have one question. Do you have a better advisor than me? Okay, तर जर का माझ्यापेक्षा चांगला कोणी ऍडवायझर तुला मिळाला तर आय एम हॅपी. मला का तुला ऍडवाइस देण्याची काही आवश्यकता नाहीये. पण अ लीडर विल ऑलवेज रिक्वायर अन ऍडवाइस. हे आठवण ठेवतो. चंद्रगुप्ता माफी वगैरे मागला लागला की सॉरी सॉरी सॉरी. पण द मेसेज फ्रॉम दिस स्टोरी you have to conclude. Okay, are you the Chanakya or the Chandragupta Maurya? Or are you the minister who gets carried away or makes other carried away? तर ह्याच्यात स्टोरीज तर काय टेक अवे आहे, व्हॉट इज द मोरल ऑफ द स्टोरी, वी विल डिस्कस टुवर्ड्स द एंड. ओके, बट बिफोर दॅट आय एम अ गुड स्टोरी टेलर. पूजा मॅम, आय एम गोइंग टू टेल लॉट ऑफ स्टोरीज टुडे. आता मी तुम्हाला एक नॉन चाणक्य स्टोरी सांगतो. हे मी स्वतः माझ्या गुरुजींच्या रूम मध्ये बसून बघितलंय, ऐकलं नाही, बघितलंय. आय एम बीन फ्रॉम अ स्पिरिच्युअल ऑर्गनायझेशन कॉल्ड एज चिन्मया मिशन. लोकांनी खूप ऐकलं पण असेल. आय थिंक सांगली ऑल्सो हॅज गॉट अ ब्रांच ऑफ चिन्मया मिशन. आणि स्वामी पुरुषोत्तम आनंदजी वगैरे खूप चिन्मया मिशनचं कार्य केलेलं आहे. सो I was sitting with Swami Tejomananji, who was after Swami Chinmayananji left, Swami Tejomananji, the head, global head of Chinmaya Mission. आता त्यांचे जे शिष्य आहेत स्वरूपानंदजी, he has become the global head. मला आठवतंय की मी आम्ही आश्रमात, मुंबईच्या आश्रमात बसलो होतो आणि एक मुलगी होती, महाराष्ट्रीयन मुलगी, खूप खूप चांगलं गायची. शी इज अ एक्सलंट सिंगर. तर गुरुजीने त्याला सांगितलं, तेजोमननी तू गा ना जरा, काय कुछ सुनाईये. एक मस्त भजन, असं भजन ऐकलं तर इट लाईक वी गॉट इन टू ट्रान्स. तर असं मस्त भजन गायल्यानंतर तृप्त झालं. पण आमची ही मुलगी ती गुरुजीने जाऊन ऐकलं, गुरुजी मला एक विचारायचं आहे तुम्हाला. थँक्यू, सर्व आशीर्वाद वगैरे वगैरे, ठीक आहे, हा विचार, जे का विचार. आय रिअलाइज इन द डिस्कशन दॅट हर मदर वॉज ऑल्सो अ ग्रेट सिंगर. आणि दोघे, आई आणि मुलगी, द मदर अँड द डॉटर, बोथ आर हॅव्हिंग द कॉमन गुरु, दॅट इज तेजोमनजी. तर मुलीने गुरुजींना विचारलं, गुरुजी खरं सांगा, प्लीज टेल मी. ओके, यू हॅव सीन माय मदर सिंगिंग, यू हॅव सीन मी सिंगिंग, बरोबर आहे. टेल मी हू इज अ बेटर सिंगर, मी और माय मदर. ओके, खरा चांगला गाणारा कोण आहे, मी की माझी आई. गुरुजी हसायला लागले आणि त्याने सांगितलं, तुला एक सांगू का, तुम कितना भी अच्छा गाओ, श्रेय तो तुम्हारे माँ को ही जाता है. तू काहीही करून घे, शेवटी तुझं जे अचिव्हमेंट आहे ना, त्याचं श्रेय तुझं आईलाच जाणार आहे. फ्रेंड्स, हे आपल्याला लाईफमध्ये नेहमी आठवण ठेवणं आवश्यक आहे की इफ यू बिकम अ लीडर, नंबर 1 इन युअर फील्ड और क्षेत्र, तुमच्या क्षेत्रात तुम्ही परम लेवल, नंबर 1, अल्टिमेट लेवलमध्ये पण आलात ना, तर आठवण हे ठेवते की तुमच्या मागे खूप लोकांनी मेहनत केलेली आहे. तुम्ही नंबर 1 असंच नाही होत. फ्रॉम झिरो टू हिरो इज अ जर्नी ऑफ नॉट यू बट थाउजंड्स ऑफ पीपल, डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली, हू सपोर्टेड यू. काय काय लोक आपल्याला माहिती असतात, आई बाबा, आपले मित्र किंवा शिक्षक, भाई बहीण वगैरे जे कुटुंबिक लोक आहेत. बट द रियालिटी इज दॅट यू नेवर नो हाऊ इनडायरेक्टली द वर्ल्ड हॅज सपोर्टेड यू, and unknowingly how many blessings have come to you. So friends, this is very important to know that if you are successful, I'm sure all of us, including me, am successful. But remember one thing, it is a duty of a leader, according to Mahabharata, to maintain the highest level of humility. विनय अधिकारikam, ज्याला विनय असतं त्यालाच राजा बनण्याचा अधिकार असतं. व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट आयडिया फ्रॉम अर्थशास्त्र. ओके, विनय अधिकारikam, ज्याला विनय असतं, विनय मीन्स ह्युमिलिटी. ओके, विद्या ददाति विनयम आणि विनयम ददाति विद्या ऑल्सो. व्हॉट डज दॅट मीन? ज्याला विनय असतं, ह्युमिलिटी, तो शिकत राहते. यू कीप लर्निंग वेन यू आर हंबल. इवन इफ यू आर नंबर 1, यू हॅव टू कीप लर्निंग. आणि जो लर्निंग करत असतो तो लीडर असतो. And I don't want to tell, every particular profession today is about not getting the first class first in your college days, but continuously upgrading yourself till you die. Yes, profession never ends, knowledge never ends. And in knowledge आणि विद्याचं क्षेत्र असं असतं की it always has विस्तार. It keeps growing, and it is endless journey of knowledge seeking. Friends, हे मी का सांगतोय स्टोरी? याचं कारण म्हणजे की चाणक्याच्या लाईफमध्ये बघितलं तर खूप घटना आहेत. And it is very important to know him as a historical character also. आता मी थोडं इतिहासमध्ये जातो. Let me tell you something about history. He is not an imaginary character. म्हणजे असं नाही की कोणी काल्पनिक व्यक्ती होता. He lived in the 4th century BC. 2400 वर्ष अगोदर भारतमध्ये पटनामध्ये, during those days it was called as Patliputra. He lived in Patliputra, and during those days the kingdom was called as Magad kingdom. And there were 16 regional kingdoms in India, 4th century BC. Chanakya was born to a great teacher called as Acharya Chanak. Chanak ka putra Chanakya. त्यांचे बाबा पण टीचर होते. Like in most of the medical profession we find, it's a generation of doctors. So it is like father, grandfather, grandson. I in fact met one family in Kerala. The Ayurvedic doctors are here. And they're saying that we are 7th generation Vaidyas. Let me tell you, dynasty is many times a strength. Upon politics, dynasty we look at, being not so favorable. It's not just dynasty, it's also capability and knowledge traditions. So if you're capable, why not? So your son can also become a doctor. Doctor can also do it. So capability is very important. Of course, you have to study also, but very important is family tradition. But म्हणून आपल्या इकडे jati, this word called jati is about professional continuity. Unfortunately, it became a caste and community. And the Britishers knew very nicely how to divide and rule. Actually, you'll be surprised. It's a very great economic model also. Not many people know this. And तुम्हाला जर का historical research मध्ये interest असेल, which is my area, I'm suddenly becoming an historian, an archaeologist, I don't know what all, सर्व चाणक्यामुळे. You'll be surprised. Hey, तुम्ही specifically, there is a period in India आपण बघतो ते की when knowledge was created in mass and it was documented in India specifically. आपल्याकडे असं महाभारत, रामायण आणि वैदिक कल्चर पासून ऑलरेडी नॉलेज ट्रेडिशन आहेत, but there was a generation. This was around the 1st century and 2nd century BC. Okay, काय झालं म्हणजे तेव्हा युद्ध वगैरे नव्हते, there was no mass आक्रमण, आणि असं सांगतात ना, भूखे पेट पे रिसर्च नहीं होती. जब आक्रमण होता है रिसर्च नहीं होता. Because your survival generation is it fighting against the enemies. पण त्या काळी, the foreign invasions had not happened and all those things. Everyone like everything good. अर्थव्यवस्था वगैरे ठीक होतं, घरी वगैरे चांगलं. तर मग काय, empty mind, either talk about God or devil, So they talked about lot of spiritual concept, philosophy. तर त्या जनरेशन मध्ये 1st century, 2nd century BC मध्ये, it so happened that people started specializing in knowledge. And if you see the tradition, there was a lot of literature created. Astronomy, astrology, medicine, Ayurveda. That is the same period when Arthashastra was also written. Panchatantra was written. Vatsyayana wrote Kama Sutras. So all this is a particular generation. Like today we call it a technology generation, isn't it? Ours is a technology era. 2-3 generations ago, it was like, manufacturing era. Atta पण manufacturing आहे. So you have to understand there is an era, there is an age. त्या काळातला होता चाणक्य. So don't think that, he was a single person, but that ecosystem was all about knowledge creation. And Chanakya from from Patliputra, he goes to Takshashila, where he studies the previous Arthashastras. Achha, by the way, Kautilya Arthashastra जे त्यांनी लिहिलं, there are 2 books he wrote, Kautilya's Arthashastra and Chanakya Niti. आणि देवाच्या कृपाने या पुस्तकावर माझा PhD आहे, त्याच्यावर 17 पुस्तकं लिहिले. That is all fine. But the whole idea is that Chanakya studied all the previous acharyas of Arthashastra before he wrote his own Arthashastra. So first thing is, Kautilya's Arthashastra is not the first Arthashastra. It was a tradition. It was a parampara. Arthashastra manje काय? What is the meaning of Arthashastra? Some people call it a book of economics, Arthavyavastha. Some people call it a book of political science, Rajavidya, Rajaniti. Some people call it a book of Dandaniti, कसं दंड द्यायचं, punishments. Some people call it as a book of war. But let me tell you, for me, it's a book of leadership. Chanakya was creating leaders. And आपण आता medical profession मध्ये पण झालं तर we have something called as SOP, Standard Operating Process. And I'm sure all of you must have heard about this great doctor called as Dr. Atul Gawande. त्यांनी एक phenomenal पुस्तक लिहिले, Checklist Manifesto. And I'm sure all of you must have already read that book, and hopefully one day you should get, if you have not, Atul Gawande sir also on this platform. He's an amazing person. He's revolutionized the medical field in a big way by bringing together something called as a checklist manifesto. So I read him and I said, wow, what a great person. So Chanakya also was a person who made a standard operating process. त्यांनी सांगितलं की राजा बनना है तो इट्स अ साइंस. सो डोंट थिंक कि बन गया कोई राजा है, ऐसा नहीं होता है. अपने आप एक साइंटिफिक प्रोसेस है. In fact, it is said in India, unfortunately, today we have an election system of leaders, political leaders, isn't it? But in Indian tradition, it was selection of leaders, not election of leaders. कारण election becomes manipulation. ते पॉलिटिशियनला फक्त एवढंच माहिती असायला पाहिजे की वोट बँक कुठून येणार आणि काय करायचं पाहिजे. दॅट इज नॉट ग्रेट लिडरशिप अँड दॅट इज नॉट स्ट्रॅटेजी ऑल्सो. ओके, दॅट इज क्रुकेडनेस अँड मॅन्युप्युलेशन. त्याला लिडरशिप नाही म्हणत. इनफॅक्ट द जोक इज दॅट आफ्टर यू गेट अ चेअर व्हॉट डू यू डू. It is not how to get a chair. That's very simple. But what you do after you get the chair, after you become a leader. स्वामी चिन्मयानंदजी खूप चांगलं सांगायचं. You may get a chair. तुम्हाला लिडरशिपची पोझिशन मिळू शकते by many hook and crook methods. It could be like, because of my hereditary. माझे बाबा होते तर मी पण होणार. Okay, ठीक आहे. Or maybe because of some, corruption, की कोणाला पैसे दिले हे. So you can become a leader because through many reasons. But if you're not capable, the chair will not keep you. Remember one thing, that the first part of the journey is to become a leader. But the most important part of the journey is after you become a leader, what do you do? Unfortunately, it becomes a power game, but it should be a opportunity for doing service. See, these are our philosophies. Okay, it's very, very profound. So, Chanakya came from the parampara of Arthashastra. He studied everything. So, there is always saying about teaching profession. Study the past, apply in the present, and write a textbook. Three important roles, कारण तुम्ही जर का मेडिकल प्रोफेशनल, यू नेवर इन्व्हेंटेड, नोबडी स्टार्ट फ्रॉम झिरो. ओके, सो यू हॅव अ ट्रेडिशन. ते अभ्यास करायचं अँड देन यू हॅव टू अप्लाय इन युअर लाईफ टाईम. तुम्ही पण एक्सपेरिमेंट्स करा, ऍप्लिकेशन घ्या. तुम्ही सर्व आपल्या पेशंट्स बरोबर करत असता. आफ्टर दॅट यू बिकम अ टीचर. सो बी अ स्टुडंट, बी अ लीडर इन द फील्ड अँड बिकम टीचर. अँड टीचर इज द वन हू डॉक्युमेंट्स हिज आयडियाज ऑल्सो. कारण डॉक्युमेंटेशन नसेल तर यू विल लूज एव्हरीथिंग. इट इज सेड as one of the greatest documenters in the history of mankind is Vedavyasa. आणि तुम्हाला माहिती आहे वेदव्यासने महाभारत लिहिलं, पुराण लिहिलं, श्रीमद भागवतम लिहिलं, खूप काय लिहिलंय. पण हिज फ्रस्ट्रेशन. इट्स अ व्हेरी इंटरेस्टिंग स्टोरी. माझे टीचर्स आम्हाला सांगायचे की वेदव्यास इज अ पार्ट ऑफ महाभारत ऑल्सो. या पुस्तक किंवा जे ग्रंथ त्यांनी लिहिलं, ही इज अ कॅरेक्टर इन महाभारत. अँड ही वॉज द वन पर्सन हू वॉन्टेड टू स्टॉप द महाभारत वॉर. जाऊन सर्वांना ऍडवाइस करायचे, हे करायचं. आणि बाय द वे, हे सर्व त्यांचीच परंपरा. इफ यू स्टडी द महाभारत, दे आर ऑल लिनिएज ऑल्सो. देअर ओन चिल्ड्रन, कझिन्स अँड ऑल दोज. अरे बाबा, इमॅजिन भीष्म पितामह और वेदव्यास का नशीब. आपल्याच मुलं भांडताना त्यांना काही काय, फक्त धर्माचं कल्पना देऊ शकतात, त्यांना लेक्चर देऊ शकतात, म्हणून ऐकत कोणी नाही. हो, तर वेदव्यास इज इंटेलिजंट. कोणी ऐकलं नाही तरी ठीक आहे, मी लिहून ठेवणार. मे बी द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन विल अंडरस्टँड इट. Remember one thing, when you start advising certain people, they don't understand it, they don't value it because you're too close, isn't it? But sometimes you document it. Maybe after generations you will be valued. म्हणून जेव्हा तुम्ही लिहून ठेवणार, तेव्हापर्यंत तुमचं नॉलेज किंवा तुमचा जे अनुभव आहे, दॅट विल स्टे फॉर जनरेशन्स टू कम. चाणक्य डिड दॅट. चाणक्याने काय केलं, आपलं पूर्ण ऑल द नॉलेज वॉज डॉक्युमेंटेड. सो एज आय टोल्ड यू, अर्थशास्त्र, चाणक्य नीती. अँड इमॅजिन माझं नशीब. Okay, I studied 2 books and wrote 17 books out of that. आणि या लॉकडाऊन मध्ये अजून 3 पुस्तकं. सो आय एम डेफिनेटली शुअर वेन द चाणक्य कम्स बॅक, तो मला सोडणार नाही. बोलतो माझं पूर्ण ग्रंथाचा तो एवढा मिसइंटरप्रेट करून कॉर्पोरेट चाणक्य, असं कॉर्पोरेट वरबड काय नव्हतं. बट देन माय टीचर सेड, इट इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट दॅट नॉलेज शुड बी रेलेव्हंट इन एव्हरी जनरेशन. सो चाणक्य स्टडीड एव्हरीथिंग अँड देन अप्लाइड इन हिज फील्ड. त्यांनी काय काय ऍप्लिकेशन केलं. फक्त राजनीतीचा थिअरी एक्सपर्ट नव्हता, तो प्रॅक्टिकल एक्सपर्ट होता. त्यांनी अलेक्झांडरला पराजित केलं. ही डिफीटेड अलेक्झांडर. देन ही क्रिएटेड चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य. देन ही डिफीटेड धनानंद, हु वॉज नॉट अ ग्रेट रूलर. ही युनायटेड इंडिया फ्रॉम 16 रिजनल किंगडम्स इनटू 1 सेंट्रल गव्हर्नन्स. त्यांनी पुस्तकं लिहिले फॉर डॉक्युमेंटेशन. अँड वेन ही लेफ्ट द फिजिकल बॉडी आफ्टर मेनी इयर्स, हिज व्हॅल्यू वॉज अंडरस्टूड मोर. So friends, researchers and teachers have this advantage that they will be remembered more after they are gone because they work at a different league altogether. And Victor Hugo, one of the great philosophers from the West, he put it very nicely. कधी कधी खूप वर्ष लागतात तुमचं जे आयडियाज आहे ते लोकांना कळायला. Sometimes it takes generation to understand the value of your work, but when they understand it, nobody can stop it. Okay, armies can be resisted, but not an idea whose time has come. Okay, armies can be resisted, but when the idea comes back, it can create a revolution. And that's what's exactly happening. Apna time aa gaya hai. India ka time aa gaya hai. Aap doctors, you are the most valued assets of India, not only nationally, but globally. Isn't it true? And it is happening with every Indian, every field. Like, as a teacher, I travel across the globe. Ayurveda, yoga, Bollywood, apna time aa gaya hai. So nobody can stop an idea called India and Indian wisdom. And in that whole gamut of so much things, that's happening around the word called Bharatiyatva. Bharatiyatva आणि राष्ट्रत्वामध्ये आपले जे knowledge contribution आहे, I have a small part to play there called Chanakya. So I think enough of storytelling. Let me get to the 5 points. I have written a book called as Katha Chanakya also. And as it is said, I've written so many books on stories of Chanakya. You can refer to that later on. But one interesting thing I'd like to tell you, I also got involved in a big movie project on Chanakya with Neeraj Pandey as the director and Ajay Devgan is acting. So we completed the script writing. The lockdown, if it wasn't there, we would have gone into the shooting, the production phase. But you will see this movie happening. I am heading the research of that particular movie. So we collected a lot of data. Very soon, maybe 2021 or 22, you will see the big screen Chanakya movie coming up. Till then, if you want to know more of stories about Chanakya, read the books, or you can even watch a serial of Chanakya by Dr. Chandra Prakash Dwivedi. Doordarshan मध्ये यायचं Ramayana Mahabharat, 47 episodes, easily available on YouTube. Okay, so I think till this particular time I was talking about the person, Chanakya, Kautilya, Vishnugupta, ekas vyakti hai. Now I'm going to go to 5 points. So Chanakya's 5 sutras of leadership. I will not talk about sutra. I'll talk about 5 ideas. Sutra manje काय? Sutra actually means thread. Sutra. Okay, something that connects everything. But sutra also means formulas. Like Einstein had a formula called as E is equal to MC square. So I'm going to give you a simple 5 formulas of leadership. And this anybody can apply in any field. Okay, so 5 formulas or 5 sutras that I'm going to share with you. And very easy to remember. So I don't complicate karnar nahi. Okay, so that anybody and everybody can take away these sutras. I only require one small, commitment from all of you. These 5 points you should apply in your life. And please teach it to others also. You have an advantage of people listening to you, isn't it true? तुमच्या क्लिनिकमध्ये जेव्हा येतात, you are their lifesaver. Okay, remember one thing, we are blessed to be in a profession, teaching and, doctor, that, people listen to us. मला माझे टीचर सांगितले, क्लासरूममध्ये जेव्हा लोक बसतात ना, they don't have a choice but to listen to you. At least till the exams are cleared. In the same way, when a patient comes to you, in that room at least, they have no option but to listen to you. का मी हे सांगतोय? Because I am on a mission mode to promote Chanakya. कारण माझं गुरुसाठी एक गुरुदक्षिणा आहे. He never charged me anything. But I said, okay, let me make it my passion. And then there is a beautiful Japanese book called Ikigai, Finding the Purpose of Your Life. So I found my purpose in Chanakya. So these 5 points you have to apply in your life. And if possible, please teach. And maybe in your clinics or hospital, maybe put up some nice poster about these 5 points. So somebody can make some creative design along with your association logo and put it up. Okay. So with that, let me begin with the first idea, the first sutra. And what is the first sutra? What is the ideal leader according to Chanakya? And Chandragupta create केलं. But remember one thing, Chandragupta is not the person. Okay, he created. He had an idea and Chandragupta fitted into that idea. Okay, तर असं म्हणा fill in the blanks. असा राजा पाहिजे. आणि त्यात Chandragupta fit झाला. That is the real. But what is the ideal? The ideal king according to Chanakya is called as Raj Rishi. So this is your first sutra. कसा लीडर असायला पाहिजे? राज ऋषी. राजा आहे पण ऋषी पण आहे. What is the meaning of a rishi? A thinker. Okay, a person with a spiritual base. फक्त राजा झाल्याने काय मोठं होत नाही. There are so many leaders. किती politicians येतात जातात. किती chairmen येऊन जातात. But you remember a few of them. And you remember because of the leadership qualities and spiritual base. Yes, it's very important. If you don't have a spiritual base, at least in this country, India मध्ये तुम्हाला काय भाव नाही. Because we never respect just leaders. We respect those people who are like rishis. And so many examples. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Okay. Scientist, but President of India, first citizen of India, Raja. president of the commander of the three armed forces, all this constitutional thing, but always a humble leader, people's president. So he was a rishi, isn't it true? Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, great Raja, but always called as a person who had a spiritual purpose in life. आणि रामदास स्वामींनी त्यांच्याबद्दल खूप चांगलं लिहिलंय, श्रीमंत योगी. See, look at the description he had. Shrimanta, that is prosperous, but under se yogi. Another great leader who is referred in the Bhagavad Gita also is Janak Maharaj. He is called as Raja Rishi. Raja hai, Mithilacha Raja hai, but Atmadun Rishi hai. When there is always a conflict, Raja Rishis were called. And please understand, they were not ordinary. They were running a kingdom, but inside they were not attached. असं म्हणून प्लीज अंडरस्टँड युअर ऑल लीडर्स इन युअर पर्टिक्युलर फील्ड्स, बट डोंट गेट अटॅच्ड. एक हातात ज्ञान पाहिजे आणि दुसऱ्या हातात वैराग्य पाहिजे. ओके, दॅट इज राज ऋषी. यू विल बी सरप्राइज की वैराग्य का पाहिजे, बिकॉज इफ यू गेट अटॅच टू द पॉवर पोझिशन, इट्स अ व्हेरी डेंजरस थिंग. I will tell you 3-step formula of leadership. Okay, you always start as a follower, you become a leader, and again you become a follower. Leadership is never a permanent thing. लोकांना वाटतं आता मी follower होतो, आता मी leader झालो. No, leadership is a temporary position. If you're a good follower, you become a leader. But leadership is a temporary position. When the next leader is ready, you should exit. Genius is to know when to stop. And then what do you do? अभी मैं जिंदा हूँ, ठीक है, go back to become a student. I don't know if some of you may be Rotary members. Okay, there's a very beautiful. I'm a Rotarian. They keep calling me for a lot of talks. So I realized one very interesting thing. Rotary has got 3 leaders simultaneously. हे तुम्हाला माहिती आहे का? So it is called president, maybe a club or whatever. जैसा. पण काय असतं तो एकटा नाही. There is something called as immediate past president, and then there is somebody called a president elect. 3 लोग, very good. So one who is in the center is a leader. तो chairman है, president है, but he's been guided by the immediate past president. तेरा अनुभव है ना, and he knows कि 1 साल के बाद मेरे को खुर्ची छोड़ना है. It is called president elect. Then what I'm after 1 year, president elect. Okay. Becomes a president, and the president becomes an immediate past president. And what about that first person? He becomes a common man. He becomes a common member. लोगों को मन में डोक्यात शिरतं ना की मीच राजा आणि आय एम परमनंट. माय गुडनेस, परमनंट कसं होऊ शकतात हो? म्युझिकल चेअर आहे. That leadership position is a musical chair. It always like nice people to sit on it. Therefore, please understand, if you're a leader, there is a saying, अपना time आएगा. Every capable follower will become a leader. Don't worry. If you're a good follower, you will become a leader. But remember other thing also. Every leader has to exit. So अपना time आएगा, लेकिन अपना time जाएगा. Okay? It is better to walk out before being kicked out. When the vice captain is ready to become the captain should not sit there. No, me चांगला है. You may be the most capable, but still you have to exit. Because how do you know the other person is not capable or maybe better than you? Give you an opportunity. Leadership ऐसा position है, छोटा नहीं. चाणक्य ने बोला राजा ऋषि बनो, राजा बनो पर अंदर से ऋषि रहो. I'll give a corporate example. असं सांगतात, if the person below me replaces me, then what about me? The vice captain झालं माझं काय व्हॅल्यू आहे? आणि त्याचं उत्तर आम्ही नेहमी उलटं सांगतो. And I've written in my book Corporate Chanakya also. If the person below you cannot replace you, how will you go higher? So लोकांना काय वाटतं, भीती की खुर्ची गेल्यानंतर मी काय करणार? And this is where Chanakya comes in. राजा से भी बड़ा राजगुरु होता है. Instead of sitting on the chair, you have the ability to create more chairs. And you have the ability to decide who will sit on the chair. तुम्हाला माहिती आहे, मी खूप म्हणजे IAS, IPS ऑफिसर्स लोकांना बघितलं, व्हेरी पॉवरफुल लीडर्स, पण त्यांना भीती काय असतं मग ट्रान्सफर. And who decides the transfer? The people sitting in the committee, all retired people. So if you are retiring, good. Why? Because you are more powerful. Raja se bhi bada Rajguru. The kingmaker is more powerful than the king. Hey, खूप important है. So before you enter, plan your exit. लोकांना नंबर वन, अरे राम 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 राम. जीरो से हीरो बनना और हीरो से जीरो बनना. लेकिन the difference is, because you travel the whole part, you're not just a zero who can create more heroes. From zero to hero to zero, but the second time you become zero, you're full. See, this is the beauty of Indian culture. We believe that everything has to be achieved. You should not be a failure in life. You should achieve everything. But ज्ञान आणि वैराग्य. यू शुड नो हाऊ टू लेट इट गो. म्हणून एक असं खूप चांगलं सांगतात, ए लीडर इज द वन हू क्रिएट्स मोर लीडर्स. ए लीडर इज द वन हू क्रिएट्स मोर लीडर्स. आणि तुम्हाला अजून एक सांगतो, इट इज सेड व्हेरी नाईसली दॅट युअर चिल्ड्रन विल नेव्हर लिसन टू यू. There is always a generation gap. Who listens to you? Your grandchildren. Yes, it is a saying that knowledge always skips one generation. माझा मुलगा ऐकणारच नाही तो, कारण तुम्ही तुमच्या बाबांना ऐकलं का? So you have to understand one thing, you're too close, isn't it? म्हणून असं सांगतात की why are the grandparents and the grandchildren close to each other? Because they have a common enemy in between. So if you think you are going to teach your son how to run your hospital or clinic, भूल जाओ. वो ज्यादा पढ़ा लिखा बोले बाबांना काय कळत नाही हो, तुम्ही आउटडेट झाले, तुम्हाला काय कळत नाही का हो, ते कळणारच नाही. पण समझदार वो होता है जिसको बोलते कि रुको एक जनरेशन और रुक जाना भैया मेरे. See, this cannot come in one generation. Knowledge tradition is about generations. Chanakya along with Chandragupta also created Ashoka. Chandragupta's grandson, and he became a global leader. जेवढं चंद्रगुप्ताने तयार केलं होतं, he became a leader of India. But Ashoka became a Vijigishu, world leader. So friends, if you're retiring, you have more work to do. दादा दादी की कहानी हम लोग ये जनरेशन में भूल गए. Please, पोता पोतियों को सिखाओ how to replace your son. Understand, this is a beautiful tradition. आपल्या इकडे ओल्ड एज कन्सेप्ट ना खूप बेकार झालेला आहे या जनरेशन मध्ये. वो फर्नीचर बैठा है उधर, क्या फर्नीचर बैठा है, वो क्रिएट कर सकता है. And there's always this, आपण प्रेम असतं ना, अनअटॅच्ड लव्ह. कारण हे दादा दादी क्या बोलते की आता हे माझं पेरेंटिंग नाही, माझं झालं. नाउ दॅट इज माय सन्स अँड डॉटर्स प्रॉब्लेम टू टेक केअर ऑफ देअर चिल्ड्रन. व्हॉट इज माय रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी? कहानी बताना और नॉलेज शेअर करना. Why? Look at this lesson Chanakya says, if you don't have that understanding ki you have to be like a rishi, you have to be like a thinker. So think before entering the leadership position and think how to exit the leadership position. Create more leaders. In fact, मी माझ्या मुलांना युनिव्हर्सिटीमध्ये नेहमी सांगतो, the day you become a leader, you should plan your retirement. हा? बरोबर, you don't plan your retirement on the last day, जेव्हा तुमचं सर्व सत्कार होणार आहे. No. Okay, the first sutra. Leader has to be a Raj Rishi. Second sutra. Okay. Vriddha Sanyogaha. Vriddham barobar sanyog thevana. Even if you're a leader, you have to be constantly in touch with those people of Vriddha. Two types of Vriddha, Ayu Vriddha and Jnana Vriddha. Ayu Vriddha means by age. Of course, experience ka value bhi hota hai. But आपल्या इकडे India मध्ये knowledge parampara is not just about age, it's also wisdom. Okay, so if somebody knows about a particular field which is not known to you, make him or her your guru. And today's children are fantastic with technology, isn't it? उनको अपना गुरु बना दो. Because if you don't know how to look at the mobile, don't worry. The little boy and the girl who's fiddling with the mobile can crack your biggest problem, isn't it true? There's a saying, when I used to be small, if an electronic item came into my house, okay, TV, radio, Baba सांगत हात नाही लावायचं. Okay, you're not allowed to touch. Today, when a technology or an electronic item comes into my house, a gadget comes to my house, I ask my son, beta kaise chalana bata. And the interesting part is that the son doesn't require a manual. असं काय बसून आपण काय नाही, it's a sixth sense. ते कसं सॉल्व करतात माहित नाही. I can tell you about my own son, he's hardly 8 years old. माझं हे Apple phone. Apple घेतलं तर तुम्ही अटकलात. I don't know how many people use Apple. So, it is like a white elephant. Apple makes a lot of money and then you only lose money. Okay, remember that. So one day what happened, my mobile got knocked off. चालत नाही आणि काय करणार, लॉकडाऊन मध्ये वेबिनार करायचं, हे करायचं. I landed up in the Apple store. My goodness, फोन चालू होत नाही, काय बूट करतोय, रिबूट करतोय, एक दिवस झालं. बाय ऍपल स्टोर मध्ये गेला, तिकडे पण लॉकडाऊन. व्हॉट टू डू? आय स्टूड देअर फॉर अराउंड 6 hours. पण नंबर लागला नाही. आता 2 दिवसानंतर घरी आलो. माझ्या मुलाने बघितलं फोन, काय पप्पा कुडकुडू काहीतरी केलं आणि चालू. म्हणलं वा. मी त्याला विचारलं कसं केलं, असं केलं. बट युअर एन 8-year-old बॉय, डिड आय सॉल्व्ह युअर प्रॉब्लेम? प्लीज अंडरस्टँड दिस. त्यानं रिअलाइज वन थिंग, आपल्या इकडे गुरु शिष्य परंपरेमध्ये एज इज नॉट द फॅक्टर, विजडम इज द फॅक्टर, इजंट इट? Therefore, you have seen so many stories where young boys and girls were actually teachers for elders. Mauli, Jnaneshwar, काय एज होतो त्यांचं? निवृत्तीनाथ, मुक्ताबाई, सोपानदेव, बच्चे लोक वो, आणि कोणाचे गुरु चांददेव. सो यू अंडरस्टँड, तुमचं 400 वर्ष 700 वर्षाचा अनुभव काय फायद्याचा नाही. एक छोटासा मुलगा तुम्हाला आत्मज्ञान देऊ शकतो. Isn't it true? So this is also very deep rooted wisdom of Chanakya. He says, even if you're a Raja, you have to be in touch with Vriddha. ते आपण आता मी स्टोरी सांगितलं ना तुम्हाला, कथा. त्याच्यात काय होतं, you have to go and meet. I am sure that in your doctor circle, you have these conferences, seminars. And when you are stuck, you'll call up somebody, काय करायचं? And today with technology, everything can be live, real time. Isn't it true? So what I'm saying that, but that is indirectly leadership. आता मीच सॉल्व करणार, अरे जरा पूछो. चाणक्य सांगता, without consultation, you should not start any work. Without the advising of wise people, you should not start any work. म्हणून आपण काही कार्य करण्याच्या अगोदर we take the blessings of our parents. Isn't it true? These blessings have a great value. आपल्याला वाटतं it's a ritual. It is not a ritual. त्याचा भाव असेल ना. I've seen that in so many families, you know, business families मध्ये पण मी बघितलंय की when they start a company, the shares is first given to the mother. The shares of that company. She will never be active in business. पण का? ते पुण्याही असते. Okay, and that works. It really works. So what I'm saying is that be it ritual or any activity, please understand Vriddha Sanyogaha. So if you're a leader, you should be in touch with experts, elders, and experienced people. And as a mentor, if you have a mentor along with you, you will never fail. Because it becomes the mentor's responsibility to make sure you succeed. Now it is not your problem. मी जिंकणार की नाही जिंकणार, it depends on the coach. It depends on your trainer. हो की नाही? सो पहिला आशीर्वाद, टोटल सरेंडर. तुम्हाला एक महाभारताची गोष्ट सांगतो मी. Do you know, there is always this debate about two great sishyas. One is called Arjuna, and other is called Ekalavya. दोघांचे एकच गुरु होते, द्रोणाचार्य. द्रोणाचार्य. Do you know one thing? There are many sishyas of द्रोणाचार्य. पुरे पांडव, पुरे आपले कौरव, बरोबर आहे. ते सोडून कर्ण also was a great warrior. Eklavya was a great warrior. Arjuna was a great warrior. But you know why Arjuna actually was the best? It is not that he was the most skilled. Actually, Karna was better than him. Even Eklavya was better than him. Isn't it true? But problem काय झाला माहितीये का? Students were good, but त्यांचा भाव चांगला नव्हता. So you know, this whole feel that you have towards your teacher is very different. And Arjuna had it. Okay, please understand this. Arjuna had it. असं म्हणतात की Arjuna, he had given a promise. There's a story in Mahabharata that Dronacharya wanted to know who is the best Shishya. Okay, the surprise test घेतात ना क्लासेस मध्ये. त्यांनी एक असं सीन क्रिएट केलं की they all the Kauravas and the Pandavas, when they were small, you know, in the Gurukul days, they went out on an expedition. तर एक रिव्हर होता, तिकडे त्यांनी काय केलं, he created a मायावी crocodile. म्हणजे असं क्रिएट केलं. It was not a real crocodile. And the crocodile comes and catches Dronacharya. And he starts shouting, ah! आणि सर्व मुलं इकडे तिकडे सर्व येऊन बघतात. आणि crocodile बघून सर्व पळून जातात. It is only Arjuna who comes, risks his lives and saves. And you know, tears open that crocodile. तर द्रोणाचार्य सांगतात, हे शिष्याचा भाव आहे. बाकी लोक प्रॉब्लेम आलाय तर पळून गेले. तू माझ्यासाठी स्वतःचा जीव घालायला तयार आहे. I always bless you that, you know, you will be my best student. So remember, this is the bhav. It is not, you know, so this is why Arjuna was the best. Arjuna was not only skilled, but he had the blessings of his acharyas. Dronacharya, Bhishmacharya, Krupacharya. ते तो सोड़ा, कृष्ण उसके साइड में था. Isn't it true? So my dear friends, whatever be your age, तुमचा भाव काय? वृद्ध संयोग. तुम्ही माझ्यापेक्षा मोठं चरण स्पर्श. अरे you are number one in your field. मी असेल number one, पण तुम्ही माझ्यापेक्षा जास्त अनुभवी आहात. This is very important. Very, very important. Leadership, never, ever let success go into your head. The moment success goes into your head, your downfall starts. And the best way to maintain your ego, it is said that वृद्धों की सेवा करो. Okay? वृद्ध सेवा के लायक है. तुम नालायक मत बनो. So जेव्हा ते म्हातारे लोक बसले असतात ना, त्यांना म्हातारे नका समजू. त्यांच्या त्या शरीरात आणि त्या मनात एवढं वर्षाचा अनुभव आहे. आणि त्यांना काय आहे भाऊ, फक्त प्रेम आहे ना, पण कोणी जातच नाही. इट्स अ चार्जिंग पॉइंट. वेन लाईफ डिस्चार्जेस यू. आपण मोबाईलला कसं चार्जिंग पॉइंटला घेऊन जातो. ओके, बट द थिंग इज दॅट वी डोंट व्हॅल्यू द चार्जिंग पॉइंट. कारण ते चांगलं दिसत नाही ना, ते लेटेस्ट टेक्नॉलॉजी बद्दल बोलत नाही. ना, पण लेट मी टेल यू, जस्ट गो देअर, सिट, आणि तुमच्याकडे ते भाव असेल ना अर्जुनाचं, तर वृद्ध संयोग, आहा, द वृद्ध विल ऑल्सो मेक यू विद्वान. ओके, तो सेकंड सूत्र, बिकम अ पर्सन हू प्रॅक्टिसेस वृद्ध संयोग. थर्ड सूत्र, and you know, this is something I love, that is called स्वाध्याय. ओके, आपल्या परंपरामध्ये राजाला सांगायचे की यू हॅव टू कीप स्टडीइंग. आपलं एज्युकेशन सिस्टम कसं माहितीये का, यू स्टडी टिल यू गेट अ जॉब, आणि त्याच्यानंतर आगे पाठ पिछे सपाट. अभ्यास केला, मला जॉब मिळाला, झालं माझं. नो 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 नो, आय थिंक कंटिन्युअस अपग्रेडेशन. Fortunately for the medical industry and many other industries, if you're not updated, you don't know. तो मेडिकल रिप्रेझेंटेटिव्ह येऊन बसतो ना, त्याला नमस्कार करा, बिकॉज ही विल टेल यू व्हाट इज द लेटेस्ट रिसर्च. वो दवाई बेचने नहीं आता है, वो आपको लेटेस्ट रिसर्च के बारे में भी बोलता है. सबका सुनो. एंड ऑफ कोर्स योर कॉन्फ्रेंसेस, but don't wait the others to come and tell you what's happening. I hope you also have, you know, sessions like this, but professional assignments. You subscribe to research journals. आणि चाणक्याने सांगितलं की जो राजा स्वाध्याय नाही करता ऑन अ डेली बेसिस, जो अभ्यास नाही करत ऑन अ डेली बेसिस, ही विल नेव्हर बी अ गुड राजा. आणि बुक नंबर 1 ऑफ अर्थशास्त्र, चॅप्टर नंबर 19, याचं नाव आहे, द नेम ऑफ दॅट चॅप्टर इज कॉल्ड ॲज राजप्रणीदिही, द डेली ऍक्टिव्हिटी ऑफ अ किंग. टाइम टेबल असतं ना, सकाळपासून संध्याकाळपर्यंत काय राजाला करायचं. देखो, राजा का एव्हरी मिनिट इज व्हॅल्युबल, इजंट इट. उसने टाइम टेबल एसओपी भी डिसाइड किया, स्टँडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसेस, सकाळी किती वाजता उठायचं, काय करायचं, हे करायचं. एव्हरी डे द राजा हॅज टू स्टडी फॉर 3 hours. 3 तास, येस, 3 hours एव्हरी डे. आणि ब्रॅकेटमध्ये सांगतो मिनिमम. तर लोक मला विचारतात, अरे 3 तास, आम्ही जेव्हा कॉलेजमध्ये होतो 3 तास अभ्यास नाही केला. आता कुठे राजा झाल्यानंतर एवढ्या बिझी शेड्यूलमध्ये कुठे आम्ही अभ्यास करणार, आणि स्वाध्याय वगैरे ठीक आहे. बट दे से इफ यू कांट स्टडी ॲटलीस्ट फॉर 1 hour, at least for 1 hour to begin with, you will never be efficient in the remaining 23 hours. So तुम्ही पळताय, पण स्टडीज गिव्ह यू डायरेक्शन सेटिंग. आणि दॅट्स वाय आपल्याकडे खूप चांगलं एक कल्चर आहे की मॉर्निंगमध्ये काहीतरी गीताचं अध्ययन करा, मे बी, यू नो, ऑर मे बी एनी अदर स्क्रिप्चर, बट स्टडी द स्क्रिप्चर फॉर सम टाइम. चाणक्य नीतीमध्ये असं सांगतात की इफ यू कांट स्टडी द होल थिंग, ॲट लीस्ट स्टडी लिटल एव्हरी डे. एक श्लोक तरी बोला. ओके, but if you can do that, like I study even today 3 hours, and I note it down every day. Not because it's my profession, it makes me more like a thinking person in my field. So it's very important for a leader to be a knowledge leader or a thought leader. He has to study every day. Remember, one is leadership by position, and second is leadership by thoughts. One very important position of a leader is thought leadership. When he or she says, the industry shakes. Isn't it true? म्हणजे तुमच्या फील्डमध्ये असं कोणीतरी तो व्यक्ती असणारच आहे ना, की त्यांनी सांगितलं तर इट बिकम्स ब्रह्मवाक्य. दॅट इज अनदर लेवल ऑफ लिडरशिप. उदाहरणासाठी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री, किती जरी फिल्म इंडस्ट्रीमध्ये किती सक्सेसफुल डायरेक्टर असणार, पण तो एक डायरेक्टर असोसिएशनचा प्रेसिडेंट असतो. इजंट इट ट्रू? त्यांनी जेव्हा सांगितलं, तो लीडर तर आहे स्वतःच्या कंपनीचा, पण when he says, it makes sense. Isn't it true? And to be very frank, you know, India deserves that leadership position where we are heard globally. We cannot be one member of United Nations. मोदीजींचं स्पीच आता ऐकलं असेल ना, नो, you cannot consider us an ordinary yet another country. No, we need to be heard. We need to be participating in positions of decision making. आपण काय आहे, असं तू एरे गेरे आहे क्या, वर्ल्ड्स लार्जेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी, and we always serve the world. वसुदैव कुटुंबकम. आणि तुम्हाला आम्ही नॅशनल सिक्युरिटी काउन्सिलमध्ये आपण बघूया हो, आणि त्यांनी खूप चांगलं स्पीच दिलं. वी कांट बी अ बेगर. Okay, we deserve it. So this is very important, that strength comes from understanding that we have a literature, we have this kind of a power of knowledge. So the leader has the power of knowledge that comes through patha, swadhyaya. Taittiriya Upanishad मध्ये clearly सांगितलंय, every student after he passes out, after the diksha ceremony, it is said very clearly, you know, swadhyaya pravachane-cha. प्रत्येक दिवशी तुम्ही काही प्रोफेशन करा, स्वाध्याय करा, अभ्यास करा, आणि प्रवचन पण करा. म्हणजे काय, यू हॅव टू टीच युअर प्रोफेशन टू अदर्स. सो रिमेंबर वन थिंग, इट्स अ डेली ऍक्टिव्हिटी. डोंट जस्ट प्रॅक्टिस युअर प्रोफेशन, लर्न अबाउट युअर प्रोफेशन, practice your profession, and teach the profession on a daily basis. So maybe you have some interns with you, or maybe you're going to some college, or whatever, you know. So it's very important that you understand the value of leadership through swadhyaya.
It's 8 o'clock.
In the chartered accountants field, it is there, you know, की ते लोक रेग्युलरली त्यांचं अपडेट करत असतात. So I think every field is now going to be a knowledge field. Okay, so let me tell you, it is said that Peter Drucker, one of the management gurus, he said it very nicely that we will be all knowledge workers. So we are not just workers, we are going to be knowledge workers. And the economy has also started changing now. आता किती तुमच्याकडे गावी गाय आहेत, तुमचा लँड किती आहे कोणी विचारत नाही, isn't it true? देर ऑल दादा दादी की कहाणी में आमच्याकडे पण खूप बैल होते, आमच्याकडे खूप जमीन होती. ठीक आहे, टुडे पेटेंट, तुमच्याकडे किती रिसर्च पेपर पब्लिश केले, तुमच्याकडे आयपी इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी, ऑल द फार्मा कंपनीज व्हॉट डू दे हॅव? नॉलेज. रिसर्च मध्ये फोकस करतात, isn't it? So I'm saying that, friends, if you want to be a true leader, understand research. Swadhyaya. Fourth point. Again, very simple but deep. Mitra sambandha. Okay? Mitra barobar sambandh thava. You may be a leader, but don't make leadership a lonely activity. I am sitting at the top and evda mota ego. No, be humble. And therefore, associations are important. In every field there are associations. आणि हे पण एक चांगलं असोसिएशन आपलं, तुम्ही एक दुसऱ्यांना मदत करतात. पण मित्र आणि संबंध इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. यू शुड ऍक्च्युअली स्पेंड टाइम अँड बिल्ड अ रिलेशन. रिलेशन डझंट मीन कामापुरता मामा. जब फोन आता तर हा माणूस नालायक आहे, त्याला काम असेल म्हणून फोन करतो. हॅव यू एव्हर कॉल्ड अप अ पर्सन विदाउट अन अजेंडा? हो, अजेंडा नसेल तर अरे राम 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 राम. आय अंडरस्टँड एव्हरीबडी इज गेटिंग बिझी. You may have a lack of time, but you should have a clear understanding of relationships. See, देखो युद्ध पे जाते हो ना, तो अकेले जाते हो तो कितना बोरिंग है, but साथ में 10 लोग आते हैं. If you have allies with you, even World War I and World War II is about group of allies, not two countries. And that's why today, if you look at it, it's always like India if has to tackle China. Okay, it is the relation with Japan, isn't it true? Dushman ka dushman dost. So to understand, your relationships matter. So friends, be friendly and maintain your friends. Chanakya says this, yeah, because leader needs others. It's not about you, it's about everyone. I know in the diamond industry, my dear friend Dr. Rajesh is also part of it. So it's like he's having a factory in seeds. So if you have a manufacturing problem, you just call up the other guy. He may be so-called a competitor, but no. A leader says, he's my mitra. We can also collaborate. So sometimes if you have a shortage of manpower, you call him up and say that तुम्हारा पे manufacturing करके दे दो. So you meet your targets. And vice versa is also true, So if something is not able done, so you actually are a part of an ecosystem. We are all interdependent to each other. So don't be, selfish. I am independent. Leader can never be independent. Leader has to be interdependent. Mitra sambandha. And the fifth and the final thing, very important, okay? And that is have one Rajguru. Okay. See, I told you about Vriddha Sanyogas. You can have many Vriddhas. There can be many experts. But your Rajguru is always one. जीवनात एक असा व्यक्ती आपल्याला पाहिजे, त्याने नाही सांगितलं ना, तुम्ही लॉजिक वापरणार नाही. You can debate and discuss. But एक होता है हुकुम राजी तो सब राजी. So I hope all of us have that one person in your life whom you have total surrender. It could be a mother, it could be a teacher. I don't know who it is. In fact, I don't know if you've seen that WhatsApp video, Modi ji, our Prime Minister, he says, I have this one person, even today, he did not put the name. उनसे जब मैं बात करता हूँ, जो बोलते हैं, मैं कभी पूछता नहीं क्यों, कैसे, कहाँ. And I'll tell you a secret, because the fifth point, okay? If you want to defeat anybody, okay, especially if he's your enemy, okay? ये रणनीति है. Instead of looking at his strengths and weaknesses, okay, so generally it's all competition strategy. That's called SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunity, strength. So when you're having competition strategy, you look at the army, the power, the right place and time. But Chanakya says नहीं, वो जो leader है ना उस तरफ का, वो किसका सुनता है, उसको पकड़ो. Even without fighting a battle, you can win the war. Yes. आपको पता है, you'll be surprised if you study Ramayana. Rama wanted to convince Ravana, but could never get convinced. कितना लोगों ने कन्व्हिन्स केलं, सर्वांनी ट्राय केलं. त्याच्या आईने ट्राय केलं, बायकोने ट्राय केलं, त्याच्या भावाने ट्राय केलं, सर्वांनी ट्राय करत करत करत. त्याच्यात एक डिस्कशन आहे. Ravana was an arrogant person, the most arrogant person, the most stubborn person. But he only listened to one person. माहिती आहे कोण आहे? Not many people know. His own father. His father was a rishi, by the way. But unfortunately, he had died. अनस्टॉपेबल को स्टॉप करने वाला एक व्यक्ति होना चाहिए आपके लाइफ में. Yes. तुम्ही सद्गुरू सांगा, advisor सांगा, राजगुरू सांगा. I hope everybody has got that one person. If he says no, it's a no. There's no logic. For me, that's my own father. I've been so fortunate. मी माझ्या बाबांनाच आपला प्रथम गुरु मानतो. I have so many gurus. वृद्ध संयोग is so many. But that one person, एक व्यक्ती नाही म्हणजे नाही. मग विचार नाही. आणि भलंच होणार हो. आपल्याला तेव्हा कळत नाही. Okay? This leadership qualities. This is very important that every Raja has a Rajguru. Chandragupta had a Rajguru. Chanakya. Chanakya also had a guru, his own father. So friends, this is also very important to practice that one person, then he or she, ते तुमचा डिसिजन आहे. बट समवेळ कनेक्ट हो जाता है ना. त्यात आतमधलं ते नातं आहे ते कोणाला कळत नाही. मोदीजी सांगत पण नाही कारण लोक त्याला इन्फ्लुएंस करायला जाणार है. मोदी को कंट्रोल करना है तो उधर पकड़ो, वो मेन स्विच है. आपका मेन स्विच कहाँ पे है जो जरूरी है, क्योंकि वो आपको बताएगा कि बेटा चलो अब ये मत करना. Friends, this is nature's law that you should always have that one person who will tell you what to do and what not to do. And there you don't ask questions. You just surrender. Say the whole. It is very important. I'll summarize and we'll take up questions, okay? So the 5 sutras, खूप simple आहे, पण आठवण ठेवा. Practice करा आणि शिकवा लोकांना. First one is, be a Raj Rishi. पहिलं सूत्र म्हणजे कसं तुम्हाला लीडर व्हायचं आहे, what is the kind of a leader? Raj Rishi. दूसरा, वृद्ध संयोग. Be in touch with experts. There are many experts for every field. Be in touch with them. Sanyoga. Be in touch constantly, you know. Third one is Swadhyaya. Study every day. Professional subjects and spiritual subjects. पण अभ्यास करायला पाहिजे. पाठ करायला पाहिजे. Okay. Fourth is Mitra Sambandha. मित्रांबरोबर संबंध ठेवा. Friend in need is a friend indeed. Be the friend who everybody looks upon to. Be friendly with everyone. Okay. So तुम्हाला पण संबंध ठेवला पाहिजे. आणि शेवटी have a Raj Guru, that one person, even if you're a Raja or a Rani, with whom you have no questions asked. Total surrender. You will be the leader that people will look upon for. Thank you so much.
Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful. Really amazing. It was very enlightening and remarkable. We have gained so much. I think I've asked Dr. Patwardhan sir to,
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
give his inputs.
I'm very much impressed, doctor. Very much impressed, and really it related to every one who is all the doctors, and you are really given a fantastic advice, and everybody has to introspect now. You are given something for introspection. It's not that easy. It's not that easy what you told, because acharan बहुत difficult है. The principles everybody says yes, but actually suppressing ego is not that simple. I know. You are very impressive. And one thing I liked about Jati, you said no. It's a great. That's because even Bhagavad Gita says no. Actually, what is Chaturvarna Mayam Srishtam Gunakarma Vivakasha. That always said is Gunakarma. It is not by birth. Because Chandragupta Maurya was Nishadaputra, as you actually said. Yeah, and there are almost many kings who were from Kshudras. Yes. So it was not like that before. We had a wrong concept that because of birth and you get this right. No, it was not so. Vijayanagar Samrajya, he was Dhangar, shepherd. Raja Ranjit Singh was Sasi Jat. So as you rightly said, it is your karma which decides, and the Jati thing has come because of British, because they did all class 1, class 4, class 3. You go to England, there is nothing like that. But they did it in India. They divide and conquer. You are great, and I am very much impressed by your all. I think everybody should introspect. I am very happy to listen to you, and I should thank our Puja, who gave me opportunity to listen. We have not got this opportunity. Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was an excellent thing. I have one question. Like in current scenario, what you think is Chanakya's advice for current women in this concept? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think women have to respect womanhood and not to try to become a man. So I'll tell you the reason why. In our culture, specifically, women have been given a very high status. Okay, now please understand that this whole concept of equality is a very Western concept. In India, we believe the concept of not equality, but uniqueness. Woman is unique, man is unique, isn't it? So what is happening? Why should somebody become a man when you already have successful woman? Let me give you this very interesting example. In our university, there was this girl, the student. She once wore a T-shirt and it had all these beautiful sayings. आजकल T-shirt में अच्छे sayings हैं. So it was a very profound statement. She said, I don't want to be equal to men. और bracket में लिखा था, why should I degrade myself? Now coming back, see what is important is that men and women have their own strengths. So you have to focus on your strength rather than working on your weakness. So what is important is that, yes, if you look at from the Western perspective, women should be given the rights, yes, and today every field there has to be equal opportunities. But I go to the other extent that leadership doesn't have a gender also. Okay, leadership is not gender, it's not about man, woman. In fact, you can be even transgender. Who stops you? It's a quality of the person inside, not the gender outside. Now coming back to Chanakya and women empowerment, Chanakya actually was a person who believed in women empowerment and practiced women empowerment and codified women empowerment. I'll give you examples. In the Arthashastra, that even if the king has to go to a war, okay, if the king has to go to a war, he has to take the green signal, not only from his Mantri Parishad or the, all the Rajgurus and the Vriddhas, but he has to take approval from two ladies. Two ladies. Rajmata and Rajapatni. इससे ज्यादा और क्या वुमन एम्पावरमेंट चाहिए? करने से पहले पूछो तो सही. दैट इज एव्हरी वाइफ्स का सबसे बडा दुखडा. सर्वांना मला विचारायचं तरी, जरा बोलायचं तरी, प्रॉब्लेम आहे तर सांगा ना. तुम्ही सांगत नाही आणि माझं ऐकत नाही. So the real empowerment of a woman is the ability of participation. Isn't it true? It's very, very important. That's a basic human need, a basic woman's need, that be participative. Chanakya codified it. Imagine, king cannot go to a war without the approval of the Rajamata and the Rajapatni. I was thinking psychologically, why two women? Why not one woman? नहीं, सास बहू का लफड़ा ही खत्म कर दिया, दोनों का सुन लिया. Other important thing, he valued women with financial empowerment. What does it mean? Do you know that the salary that the Raja used to get in the Arthashastra, let's say for example, it's 1 lakh rupees. It's actually panas. Pana was the unit of calculation. The Raja is getting 1 lakh rupee. Two women, the Rajamata and the Rajapatni also gets 1 lakh rupee. अरे वाह, अपने यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, पति कमाओ, वाइफ स्पेंड करो, बट वाइफ को फ्रीडम दिया जाता है कि आपको भी उतना ही मिलेगा. I think this is something so fantastic, right? Women empowerment financially. Third thing, coming back specifically, is that there were departments in the Chanakya's kingdom where there were only women. Okay, for example, Ganika Daksha. Then there are, women spies. Then there are people, there were factories which were 100% women operated. 100%. For example, during those days, textile industry was very popular. India has got a history of the textile industry, the cotton industry. And you'd be surprised, like the Lijjat Papad model. Okay, and you'd be surprised it was completely woman operated. And the interesting part is that if you can't come to the factory and work, you can sit at home and create the work. So the cotton would be given to you as per your timing, make that whatever fiber or the textile and give it back. So if you look at it as a society, he was a path breaker. He understood economic empowerment is also equally important. So he wrote about it, and we see so many examples. In fact, in the army, there were concepts of Vishakanya also, woman spies. Okay, and that's one thing. And the third thing, he also has documented it. So one is thought about it, practiced it, and documented it. So I believe, woman empowerment is something so practical.
One thing, may I add one thing? Yes, actually, my guru is Sadhguru Vamanrao Pai.
Oh.
And he has given the solution to it. Woman empowerment is not required. In India, woman was always given the highest position. All our Devis, Lakshmi, संपत्ति की देवी है, ज्ञान की सरस्वती है, और अगर जरूरत पड़े उनका संरक्षण करना है तो रानी चंडिका है ना. And even Bharat is called Bharat Mata, not Bharat Pita.
Yes.
So, and secondly, what is needed is not woman liberation, but Stri Sanman. Respect woman, because once you give respect, you have to have responsibility also. One who doesn't have respect will not have responsibility. The way watchman doesn't have that respect, but responsibility less. But managing director has got respect, but he has got responsibility also. So woman empowerment, not woman Sanman. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, he is a great example. Stri Sanman. There was no other king who respected woman. You know the story. So you rightly said, Shivaji Maharaj, you mentioned. Very correct. Yeah.
Pooja ma'am, I have seen, I have always respected women right from my child. The reason is that I have been born in a culture where woman is the head of the family. Okay, you'd be surprised, I don't know if you know this, some of you may or may not be aware, in Kerala, we have a woman culture as leaders. So my father, okay, I'm talking about my father who's still around, 85 years old. After marriage, he moves into the wife's family. So माझं जे घर आहे ना, ते माझ्या आईचं घर आहे. The husband moves in. And by the way, he's not considered Ghar Jamai, okay?
East India, it is still there, no? East India, Mizoram, it is still there. It is very much there. Yeah.
It is still there. And that's the reason why Kerala has got the advantage of higher education, being one of the richest states. Woman empowerment will be empowering everybody else. And I know this, that when a woman earns, she earns for the whole family. Okay, it is not for I, me, myself. लोग बोलते हैं woman कितनी shopping करते हैं, आप उनका list तो देखो खुद के लिए कितना किया. So when she buys one sari, it is never for her. She'll buy 5 saris, isn't it? That 4 is for somebody else, and she doesn't mind letting go that one sari which she purchased for herself.
And she is multitasking.
No. I think, but also, okay. By the way, let me also put the other way around. Women should also know their limitation. Don't stretch yourself too much. So one of the reasons why we stretch ourselves too much, you get frustrated. In fact, I don't know, this Saturday, very interesting, okay? I'll show you something, it will surprise you. There are certain things which women are not good at. Leave it to the man. Okay, and then you'll be happy. Look at this. Mint, the newspaper, carried a very interesting psychological research and article.
So they think from the heart. They think from the heart. Is it the reason?
So why women lose in chess? Then I realized that they don't want to play the game. हमको क्यों दिमाग में तुम लोग इतना घुसा रहे हो? So certain things you have to understand. So when we look at it, saying that all this concept is coming from the West. Nothing wrong. उनसे अच्छा भी ले लो आप. But I think in India, first is Matru Deva Bhava, then Pitru Deva Bhava, then Acharya Deva Bhava. Teacher से पहला मम्मी, मम्मी के बाद पापा. पापा का तो रोल बहुत secondary है. So I think today's generation specifically coming on is a challenge because, you have to manage this and that. But my suggestion to all the men is that, just support them. Thank you.
I should take advice of them. I always take advice of my wife.
Great.
Because actually, she is Anna Mantri, food minister, finance minister, everything she manages. So I always take advice from my wife.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
It was great.
I can see Leena also here. Leena is an amazing doctor, Hi, Leena.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was an excellent session. And Archana, would you like to thank? Yes.
Yeah. Any more questions from anyone? If somebody wants to ask any questions, I think they can unmute themselves and then ask few questions. I have one question, sir.
Yeah.
How to inculcate these rules, like in children actually? Like we know it's very much an eye opener for us. But right from the younger age, especially the teenagers, they don't listen. These younger generation. So how to inculcate some values in them, particularly?
So Dr. Archana, thank you so much for that wonderful question. Remember one thing: children will never listen to you. They will always watch you. Okay? वो आपका सुनेंगे नहीं, लेकिन आपको देखेंगे. So if you practice, they will follow you. Okay, so for example, I don't have to tell my children read a book. Actually, हमारे घर पे 5,000 किताबें हैं. मैं और मेरी wife दोनों पढ़ते रहते हैं. So if you are a reader, they will become a reader. Okay, so they watch you very carefully. Okay, they don't listen to you. Now coming to the second point, it's a very nice point, especially teenagers. Okay, now this generation of teenagers is over-informed and more aware than our parents, isn't it true? So if you compare what we are going through and what they're going to, for them, Google Devta is real. Okay, they know much more than you. Now I'll tell you a psychological pattern of growth in a human being. It doesn't matter which generation it is. The first phase of your life, when you're born, it is called dependency. So everybody is dependent. Second phase is called independency. And the third phase is called interdependency. Okay, so let me explain that. So when you're born a child, you're totally dependent. तुम्ही काय करू शकत नाही. You have to just cry. You have to be fed by the parents. They'll teach you what to do, walk, talk, everything. So totally independent. You don't have a choice, what you're getting. So, but as you grow higher and a little bit wiser, and especially a teenager, you don't like dependency. You want independence, They say, they will not tell you. They will do what they want. And there's so much conflict. But as a parent, you have to understand that they are in that phase where they want to explore. They're going through a psychological change, a physical change, relationship change. And today, with the kind of an exposure that they have, they're more confused. So at that time, don't be a parent. Be a friend. Chanakya says till 5 years, love the child. Next 10 years, discipline the child. After 15 years, consider the child as your friend. But we are so much used to parenting that we don't realize that the parenting is a role that ends. But unfortunately, parenting becomes an identity forever. Isn't it? So हम लोग advise करते वो बोलता है यार बंद करो यार. And then you know what happens? They stop communicating to you. That's the worst. When they actually find friends outside your family, you have lost your child forever. Actually, every particular point should be openly discussed, But you have stopped that because you have become an advisor, not a listener. Okay, so the first phase of your life is when you're dependent. Second is they want to be independent. Let them explore, but make sure they're safe. That's our concern. Please understand, it's not कि वो गलत जाएंगे तो हमारा safety concern होता है. But let me tell you, as they mature, when they become parents, they will need you more. Then they start realizing it's an interdependent world. हमको एक दूसरे की जरूरत पड़ती है. Isn't it true? And it is said specifically in India. When they become parents, they realize how much our mother has done for us, isn't it? And therefore, it is said in India, you never bring up a child, okay, as an individual. You require a family to bring up a child. So when you become a parent, अपने यहाँ पे तो बहुत अच्छा संस्कार है. Even the girl goes to her mother's place for delivery. And the dadi ma completes the motherhood, isn't it true? Not the ma, but the dadi ma. Ajipan paije, isn't it true? So I think they will go through that phase, but you should have that patience to be around, okay, listen to them, and only give those small tips. But what we do, हम लोग पूरा खाना बनाते हैं, हमको सिर्फ तड़का डालना है. So हमारा प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है? हम लोग ने खाना बनाया, हमारा पेरेंट्स ऐसा है, तुम्हारा पेरेंट्स कौन से जनरेशन के थे? And please understand the economic scenario also. Your children are born in a rich India, whether you like it or not. Isn't it true? हमारे यहाँ पे when we were born, it was a shortage generation. खाने को नहीं था. One कपड़ा used to go from one cousin to the other cousin. Isn't it true? और वो पोछा बनता था. अभी अरे 4 कपड़ा लेते हैं. Maybe 2 of them they never wear also. तो try किया बोला तो नको हमारा जाओ दे आओ. So I have to understand is that 2 things. Number 1, natural law is that they're moving from the phase of dependency to become independent. Have patience. They'll understand the cycle and become interdependent. But the second is that they're born in a very different generation. For them, you can't hide things. If you think you are hiding things, they already know it. And if you think you know everything about them, you don't know. Because their mind processes very differently. They're very fast, isn't it true? हम लोग को 10 मिनट लगता है ना, वो 2 मिनट में समझ जाते हैं, isn't it? They're processing. So unfortunately, the psychological children that you have today is very different from what we. So if let's say you are 18 years old and if your daughter is 18 years old, they're not same. They totally process that mentally. That's why many doctors have also realized is that biologically also the puberty comes very faster now. Isn't it true? So the mind and the body, so these children though may be 18, but actually they may be 24, 25. And in the initial days, generation gap meant actually 20 years. Isn't it? So 3 generations in a family, the children 20 years, 4 generations, 22 years. So the generation gap they say is 5 years. And with information technology, mentally the generation gap is 2 years. So understand their problem also. They require your support, understanding, because they're into so many new age problems जो हमारे time में कभी था ही नहीं. Okay, so they are actually under so much mental stress. We don't want advisors, we want understanding. Okay, I think that level we have managed, and I understand there'll be always a parenting anxiety, there'll be concerns about safety and security. But let me tell you one joke. It's not a joke, it's thing that can hit you. There's a friend of mine. Okay, his daughter was in 10th standard. Okay, very interesting, Dr. Achana. And the father had parents had already told कि बेटा देखो अभी 10th standard का एग्जाम है, आपको मोबाइल को हाथ नहीं लगाना है. Correct? So typical, don't distract yourself and all those things. So this daughter was studying, okay, and the night 12 o'clock they were like the husband and the wife was in another room and the child was studying. So बीच बीच में मम्मी जाके देखते ना चाय कॉफी कुछ चाहिए क्या बेटा, all those things was happening. And the father in between just got up and he saw the girl looking at a mobile. He just lost his cool, I had told you not to use the mobile. He just went and hit her start and took the mobile and broke it, saying that, board exam, I told you not to use the mobile. She did not say anything. But she just told, Papa, I was just communicating with a friend about the hall ticket for the next day. So understand this. Sometimes when we say, oh, cyber crime आएगा, तो अपने लिए technology is crime only. पता नहीं कोई उसको hack करेगा मेरा बेटी या बेटा को. And it is a concern, no doubt about it. But let me tell you, technology is also a double-edged sword. So as we are concerned that who are their friends and things like that, which is a natural concern, I'm sure. Our parents also must be worried, ये अच्छे friend circle में जाएगा कि नहीं जाएगी, That's always there. But understand one thing, somewhere we have to give that space to them to communicate and evolve as per their generation needs. They have the advantages with too many opportunities, but the same generation is totally confused. अपने हमें कहता थे 2-3 अपॉर्चुनिटी में से एक सेलेक्ट करना है, शादी में भी it was not too complicated. Today they try so many relationships and not even sure which one to settle down with, isn't it? So I think my only thing is that let them go through that grid of life, but be around. Okay? कभी-कभी क्या होता है उनके साथ रहना और उनको advice नहीं देना, that also could be good parenting. Just be around with them and say, listen, come what may, I will accept you as you are. And that's, I think, something, because they may not really get good friends outside. Let me tell you that. Even though they may have a lot of friends on Facebook and Instagram, they may not have that one person to call up when it is really required. Technology-based friends is a very dangerous thing. Technology can help relationships, but technology is not equal to relationships. So I think we need to come down to their level, understand their psychology, understand their pluses, minuses. But good parenting is just being around with them, even if they don't communicate to you. It is not just love. It's not just love. It is also understanding. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Paranspe sir wants to ask some question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Paranspe sir.
So go ahead. I don't know whether he's listening, but he has one question. He has typed it. Yeah.
Dr. Radhakrishnan, good evening. I am Dr. Shekhar. Hello, Radhakrishnan. This is Dr. Shekhar Paranspe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you can read it then.
Yeah.
If I am audible, then I will talk.
Yes.
Otherwise,
No. Whatever.
Anyway, I wanted to call.
Yeah, you can speak, sir.
I am
or you want me to talk?
president of our ophthalmic society here. But unfortunately, I am quite away from a place where. Hello.
Yeah.
You're audible, sir. You can go ahead.
Very weak signal. I don't hear you properly. Anyway, I have put.
Yeah.
I have put forth the question on behalf of us.
Yes.
Yeah, he has a question which says like Wish Kanya, are there Wish Purush? Yeah, a different perspective to it.
Yeah. Okay. Very, very good question. Please understand this. Pooja ma'am, can I read the question? Is it okay?
Yeah. Read the question.
So Shekhar sir is asking, that basically Chanakya had produced Vishakanya, destroy the opponents. Was that what Vishkanya were? Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Go ahead. Yeah.
So the question is about Vishakanya.
Yeah, right.
Understand Vishakanya as a concept. Vishkanya as a concept is there informally in every generation, in every place. It is called honey trap. I don't know if you have studied World War I and II. So it is basically using the female spies to get information from the enemy camp. Okay, it exists even today. You can see a lot of stories around it also. But Chanakya was the one who formally organized it. Okay. See, let me tell you another thing also about what we call as prostitutes. Okay. Now, the thing is that prostitution is something that has existed in every culture of the world in every generation. But Chanakya said that, listen, that lady also needs to get respect. Do you know, in the chapter called as Ganika Dhyaksha, it is a formalized profession where they were taxpayers, like in many countries, there were hygiene factors, and also there were pension benefits after retirement. Now, what kind of a woman empowerment are we talking about? You can't stop it, so you regulate it and give them respect. If you can't stop it, regulate it and give them some respect. For example, it's a very, body-related trade. Not highly accepted, but what happens after that body becomes a little bit old, the lady doesn't have an income. So what? You give pensions. Think about that 2,400 years ago codified. Same thing goes to Vishakanyas. It's a very psychological thing. In fact, Vishakanyas were carefully selected by Chanakya using a lot of techniques. They were the combination of beauty and brains. Okay, so don't think that, where just people go. And to become a spy, at the highest level of training, because you are in the enemy camp trying to decode things. Therefore, if you look at, there's a lot of movies and stories also about, women spies. There was one by that Alia Bhatt. It also got, very big award. I don't know if you've seen that movie, jo Pakistan ki taraf jati hai. She gets married there. I don't remember the movie's name. Kya tha naam uska?
Razi. Razi.
Razi, exactly. And by the way, that's a real story of a woman spy. Huh? Okay. So coming back, Vishakanya is a woman spy, but Chanakya's concept of Vishakanya is amazing. In fact, some of them were really good students of Chanakya, beauty and brains. And by the way, the last point to make over Vishakanya is that they were the confidants and the advisors to the king also. King would listen to them because they would give him that information that can crack the whole enemy's camp. So it is Vishakanya with a lot of respect, their beauty and brains. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. We had a very nice evening, and I thank Dr. Radhakrishnan to oblige to our request to join us for this small meeting. And we are enlightened, I think. Let's see how much we'll be able to apply to our day-to-day life and how much we can actually practice Chanakya's principles. So thank you. Thanks everyone for joining. Thanks. Yeah, we can end the thing. Any more questions, anyone? No one, I guess. So, okay, we are leaving. Okay, thank you. Great.
Thanks, Radha.
Ah. Ah.